Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm Coco, and for this next Halloween dinner I'm going to be making a cream of broccoli soup with potatoes and cauliflower. And as you can see, I'm dressed up as a medieval maiden, and so we're gonna kind of go with those vibes. So if you want to learn how to make this super quick and easy dinner, stay tuned on Cook Love. Okay everybody, so if you hear clicking and clacking, it's my nails. I have a little pumpkin here, and I did like this really cute marbling of all the Halloween colors. And so if you want to see that, check out my Instagram at Coconut Glam Nails, okay? So for this dinner, you're gonna need bread, like rolls, because I'm going to hollow them out and make like a bread bowl. And I made these the other day and they turned out okay, but this is only my second time trying. And so this time they actually came out better than the first time. So I think that, you know, we're doing good as far as that goes, but the bottom's real nice, and it looks kind of like how I want it. I want it to be puffier, but you know, it's a work in progress. I'm learning as I go, okay? And I made this with my starter that I made during the quarantine. Okay guys, so these are the things that you're gonna need. You're gonna need onions, broccoli, some celery, a couple of cups of cauliflower. And if you don't like cauliflower, here it's in here. If you don't like cauliflower, use more broccoli, because not everybody likes it, but it's a good like variation, and it's really good in cream soups. You're gonna need a ham steak, some potatoes, some russet potatoes. I think about one regular potato is about a cup, and I think it's like 5 cups. A stick of butter, some flour because you're gonna make a slurry to thicken it up, whole milk, and obviously all the spices, but we'll do that as we go. And so then all that's left is the bread bowl. So let's get started. Okay everybody, so we're gonna start by filling our pot up with 7 cups of water. Okay guys, so I'm gonna do about 6 potatoes because we want about 5 cups, but it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so here's the potato peeled, and then you want to have them washed before you do it. And we're just going to slice it and then go across, and then take it to the side, and we're gonna just dice it up. Into, I don't know, a medium-sized dice. Okay, and so I'm gonna do that, and then when I'm done doing all my potatoes, I'm going to come back and we're gonna do the broccoli and the cauliflower. Okay. Okay everybody, so now I'm turning the fire on to medium, and while I'm finishing up my cutting, I'm going to start the potatoes. And I'm going to start by putting about a teaspoon of salt in the water. And then I'm going to throw in my 5, this is almost 6 cups of potatoes. Okay, we'll be back. Okay guys, so now we're going to do some onion. And for the onion, I have this left over, so I'm just going to do a rough chop. It's about 1/3 of a cup of an onion, and I'm going to just do a rough chop because this is going to cook down. But this will give it flavor. And then I'm going to do the same for the celery, and we'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to just do it the celery, but these are kind of big ones, so I'm going to cut them through the center. If they're small, then you can just leave them like that. And then I think I'm gonna do a half a cup. And you don't want them to be too small because you want to still be able to like bite into them. And then now we're gonna do the broccoli and the cauliflower. Okay, now we're gonna add our celery and onions to the soup. So for the cauliflower, I'm gonna cut up about, I don't know, maybe about 2 cups. And I'm just gonna give it a rough chop. Kind of, you want around the same amount of potato, like the size of potatoes, just so you don't have huge chunks of cauliflower. But I like the rough chop because it just makes it like have that chunkiness, okay? And so we're gonna do about 2 cups of that. And then we'll do the broccoli. Okay guys, so for the broccoli, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna remove the crowns. And I'm gonna do like, same thing, like a rough chop. And I'm also gonna do about 2 or 3 cups of that. Yeah, so if I was an actual medieval maiden, I would be cooking this over a wood stove outside, and it's like 100 and something degrees out here. Fall wants to creep in, but it's just not creeping in fast enough, and I'm ready for it. Obviously, that's why I'm doing all my Halloween stuff. It's trying though. At night it's getting colder. All right, now we're gonna throw everything in our pot, okay? Okay, so here's everything. We're gonna just throw it all in the pot. And it doesn't look like enough water, but you have to remember we're gonna add milk to make this creamy, and it's gonna cook down a little bit, so keep that in mind. But it's looking good so far. Now we're gonna get ready to add our spices and let it just start cooking all together. And in the meantime, then we're gonna make our slurry, and I'm going to cut up the ham that we're gonna use. Okay, so now we're gonna cut up this ham steak. I just get this from the grocery store. Any kind of ham that's like thick will do. I usually, after Thanksgiving, when we have ham left over, that's the perfect time to make this meal, because you can use your leftover ham. And it is so amazing because it has, you know, I don't know how you cook your ham, but I cook it with brown sugar and all that and Coca-Cola. And so it's sweet and it has that little crust and it just tastes amazing. And so that's what I do with the leftover, like the ham bone. And so I'm just gonna get about, this makes about 2 cups. And then so just make sure you don't use the fat, and just trim that off and cut it into cubes that are like bite size. Okay, and then we're gonna saute these before we put them in our soup. Okay guys, so as this is cooking, I'm gonna do about 3 tablespoons of chicken bouillon, consomme, any kind that you want. And it seems like a lot, but keep that in mind that we're gonna add milk and butter and flour and all that to it, and so it's gonna need to be flavored. So right now I'm doing that so it could get flavoring, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic powder, about, I don't know, half a teaspoon now, and then I'll see as I go. And then I'm getting my pan ready because we're gonna saute our ham. And I'm gonna just put like 1 quick teaspoon of olive oil. And I'm gonna saute this so it gets a little bit of like a little brown on it. And it's gonna look really pretty, and look how pretty that is. And so we're just gonna cook it till it sautés, and this is a little bit more than 2 cups. It's probably about almost 3 cups, but that's just what the ham steak was, so whatever you like, you could use less, okay? Okay, now it's time to work on our slurry, and I'm gonna use 1 stick of butter. It needs to get melted, and then we're gonna add flour to it, okay? Okay guys, now that the ham is nice and cooked up, and see, we're gonna just put it right into our soup, and that is looking so pretty. Let's do a close-up so you can see. And as you can see, the water is plenty for it now that the cauliflower and the potatoes are starting to cook and the broccoli's cooking down. Okay, so we're gonna put that to medium heat while we finish our slurry, and then we're gonna put everything together by adding milk and stuff, and then we're gonna let it cook for about 15-20 minutes. Okay guys, so to our 1 cup of melted butter, we're gonna add about 6 or 7 tablespoons of flour, and that's gonna give it its thickness. And remember, we have a big pot of soup, so that's about right. And then you want to make sure that you mix it up really good. This little gizmo here is so handy. I use it every single day when I'm cooking, whether it's for when I make breakfast in the morning or whatever, but it's so handy. Look, we just made it perfect. And this is going to give it its thickness. So now I showed you my bread bowls, and so one of the, let's say, 3 things I started doing during the quarantine. Made a starter, her name's Goldie, started skating again, and made a YouTube. So here we are, this is the journey. And so I told you this was the second time I made bread, and it came out good. The insides were better this time than last time, and I opened it, hollowed it out, so it's really cute. Like, this is super exciting. So I'm going to show you with the last bread bowl how I did it, okay? Okay, so here we are. So you need a bread knife, and then I'm going to bring you closer down here. Ooh. And then I just cut the tops. And so this one did come out better than my other one. If you can see, there's little bubbles and stuff. It's super dense. And my other one was so dense, there was like no bubbles. So it's an improvement. It's not as puffed up as I wanted it to be. But guess what? It still tastes really good. It's sourdough and it's delicious, and it has that really soury smell, which we love. So my goal is to get better at sourdough, because sourdough is the bread we love with everything, whether I'm making pasta, any soups that we use. So this is it. And so I already hollowed the other ones out, and so whoever doesn't eat it with the bread bowl can have this to eat it with, and just like slice, like chunk it up and put it on top. You could even probably make croutons out of this. I've done that before, but I don't have time for all that right now. So what I did was I just scored the top, and you want to kind of go carefully because you don't want to cut the sides or the bottom where the soup's going to be. And then I just pretty much just did that. And I just went around it, and so I got to see, like, you know, there's little pockets and stuff. So it's an improvement, and that's all I can say for my second time of making bread. And I've never done it in my whole entire life. Like, I never even tried it. So to be trying it now is a new thing for me, and with my own sourdough starters. So it's kind of a special thing. But anyways, okay, so now that we did that, we're gonna go add our slurry and our milk to our soup. Okay, So now I'm gonna add my slurry, and I just put it right on top. You can see. Okay. And in that same, we're gonna put like 2.5 cups of milk. I'm gonna start with 2 and then see how I like the texture of it. And I have it on medium this whole time, but the potatoes are getting like tender enough to where you can, and so that's what you want. You don't want them to turn to mush. So I'm gonna add the milk. That looks so good. And this is such a delicious, easy, hearty soup. The things that we do to make it are the way we like it is I add sharp cheddar grated up on top, and then I do well, of course, you know, we eat it with bread. Normally, I've never made bread rolls yet, so I kind of wanted to try that. And so any kind of bread you like. And then Tabasco. It has to have Tabasco in it because that just does. So now I'm going to let this cook for about, I'm going to say 10 minutes. And you want to add your pepper. And that's at your own taste, but it doesn't taste the same without pepper. And so we love pepper, so lots of pepper. About a teaspoon's good, something like that. And at this point is when you would taste it for salt or the consommé and see if you like it or it needs anything else. I'm gonna use this one. That one just does not work good anymore. It looks like a lot of pepper, but barely any's coming out. So we like it like that. And we're gonna let that cook and let it get nice and thickened up and all of its flavors to come together, and we'll be back. So in this family, this is the soup that we make when we want soup. Now we don't make stew. That's why normally in the bread bowls you would do stew, but we don't eat stew. We eat Mexican stew, and we eat that with tostadas, which is pozole and all that stuff. So it's the bread bowls definitely need like a creamy type of soup to go in it. It reminds me kind of Disneyland when you go and you get that bread bowl soup over there in the Louisiana area, which is like what it reminds me of. So anyways, okay guys, this soup is nice and bubbly, and it's gotten really thickened up. You can see it on top bubbling, and I'm going to show you it. Guys, so here's the soup, and it doesn't have any frog's breath because look, there's no slots in my soup spoon. But here we go. And so when you turn it off and it starts to like cool a little bit, it'll get more thicker. But you don't want it to be like so thick, you know. So this is kind of what I go for. And then plus we're gonna add cheese and stuff like that. So look how good this looks, guys. You're gonna enjoy this. Okay everybody, here's the bread bowl looking all ready to go, and I'm going to let this sit for just about 5 minutes so it's not like boiling hot for us to eat, and I can do like a taste and stuff, and I'm gonna put it together the way that I would eat it for dinner, like how I'm going to tonight. Okay everybody, we're ready to plate up our soup. So we have our hollowed out bread bowls. Now, if I was gonna make this and put it in a regular bowl, which is how we're gonna eat it the rest of the week, I'm gonna put a little bit of soup in the bowl. And look how creamy that is. And then I'm going to put a little bit of the cheese I have shredded up. And then I'm gonna put another scoop on top so it melts it. And look at that, you guys. And now I'm gonna show you my little Halloween setup to get the kids all excited for Halloween this year. Okay, and see, here you go. And then I'm gonna just put a little sprinkle. Are you excited, baby? Yeah. Okay, so here it is. Look at that. Hey everybody, so here's the soup. I'm gonna do a close-up so you guys could see. It looks amazing. And so here's the setup that I made for my family with our little bread bowls. I'm trying to get you guys over here so you could see. So of course, since it's a medieval thing, it's supposed to be very simple, but they're gonna be excited for this. And so, yes, we are enjoying our meal tonight. And happy Halloween. I'm so excited, yay! Halloween, Halloween, this is Halloween. Okay. Time for the taste test. Now, this soup needs to have this, so it's up to you. You could put like 1 or 2 drops, but it's not the same without Tabasco, let me tell you. And so if you try this soup, you're gonna love it. So like, comment, and subscribe, please, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you tried it. This is one of those that you're gonna be happy you tried. It's so perfect for the fall time, and it looks amazing. The kids are gonna love this. This whole thing, it's so hearty. And then you can always dip your bread into it after. I'm gonna keep trying to make bread bowls because I just want to get better at it. It's one of my goals. I hope you enjoyed this. Come back and see me again on Cook Love. Bye.